Vibe coding is one of the most exciting and fast-moving areas of AI. And AI coding models are getting more powerful every single month. And beginners are beginning to build more and more complex apps with AI writing all of the code. And if you're just watching this from the sidelines, it might feel like you're falling behind. But here's the truth. Vibe coding is a lot easier to understand if you really just focus for a few hours, even if you have zero coding experience. This is going to be the most comprehensive video on vibe coding. You are going to go from an absolute beginner to someone who can build 20 different types of apps, because that's exactly what we're going to do in this video. We are going to build, I think, 13 to 15 different apps in this video, all of different types, all using the most powerful AI coding models in the world. This video is going to be divided into 5 parts. In part 1, we are going to talk about the most powerful coding agents in the world and how to set them up. In part 2, we're going to be building some static pages, things like landing pages, things like lead magnets, things like creating a game, building custom dashboards and presentations in your own company style. Then in part 3, we're going to talk about creating full-on web apps. So not only are we going to create a web app that you can use authentication and database so your friends can sign in, and we're going to talk about how to immediately share these apps with your friends. And then we're going to do this again, except with mobile apps. And we're going to build a full mobile app. And then in part 5, we're going to deploy our apps that we create on the web and on mobile to the App Store. But anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's learn how to vibe code. You want to know something really cool? You, with no coding experience or little coding experience, today you can use the most powerful coding models in the world, the same coding models and tools that developers use every single day. The best developers in the world use these tools right here, and these are the coding models that we're going to be using today. And I'm going to show you exactly how you're going to do that. So these right here are the 3 tools we're going to be using today. We're going to be using Claude Code. We're going to be using Codex, which many people are saying is the most powerful AI coding model in the world right now. And we're also going to be using Gemini. And in order to use all of these tools like Claude Code, Codex, and Gemini CLI in the web, just go to sandbox.dev. And in order to create a mobile app, we're going to be using the Vibe Code app. And the Vibe Code app uses Claude Code, basically. And in order to sign up for all of these tools, all you have to do is sign up either on sandbox.dev or vibecodeapp.com. And once you are logged in, you've signed up, and the first thing that you should do is you should create a new sandbox. When you create a new sandbox, it allows you to select the model that you would use, and you can select Claude Code, and then you can select your stack. If you want to create a modern looking website that a lot of people would want to create, I recommend choosing Next.js. This is the most popular. And so we can select Claude Code with Next.js, and we can immediately begin using Claude Code in the web. So we have Claude Code, we have Codex, and we have Gemini open. And before we start diving in and just building these static web pages, like a landing page, marketing page, we're going to build a prototype artifact, a lead magnet, we're going to build a dashboard, and maybe some other static web pages. And then also web apps with a database. We're going to build a game with a database that your friends are going to be able to sign in, and you're going to have a high score. We're going to add some payments later, and then we're going to download these locally. Before we really dive into all of that, I want to talk about the basics, right? What are these tools? Why do I think they're going to be the best tools for the next 5 years and beyond? And then what are some of the basics? What are the commands that you can use? What are the models that you can use within all 3 of these different coding tools? And we're going to talk about a few other things. The first thing I want to say is the reason why I've become so obsessed with these coding models, specifically Claude Code and recently Codex by OpenAI. These companies are raising billions of dollars. Anthropic just raised $13 billion to basically continue developing the best AI coding model in the world. Anthropic wants to create the best AI coding model in the world, and their company is very focused on developers. And so that's why I want to start off with Claude Code here. And I want to describe how to use it because it looks a little confusing at first, right? This is Claude Code. When you open it up, it says, "Welcome to Claude Code." It has random things. It looks like a terminal, right? This is basically running in a terminal in the cloud. And it just doesn't look super clean. But at the most basic level, this right here is Claude Code, and this right here is your web view. And these have shareable links. So whatever you make right here, you can immediately share with other people. And I can just type in, please make this into a landing page that says, hello world. Nothing else. The point is, whatever your idea is, just type it over here. The smartest AI coding model in the world will begin looking at this existing code base. And since we selected Next.js at the beginning, which is basically just a stack that has really good styling by default, it's basically just going to change the code files so that it matches exactly what you said, right? This is vibe coding. You say what you want, AI attempts to make it for you. As AI models get better, it will get better at making the thing that you ask. Look at that. So it just made a code change right here. It says done. The landing page now displays hello world centered on the screen. Look at that. It's hello world. Please make the font more Japanese style, parentheses, still English font. And then please make it a landing page for Riley's YouTube channel. Search the internet, find Riley Brown AI, and make a link tree of all of his videos. Super minimal. All right, the point is, whatever I type here, it can create a website here on the right. And what we'll find out as this video goes along is you can create a lot more than just a simple website. You can see here that the agent, this coding agent, Claude Code, is searching the internet and it's doing all these different things. What I can do here is I can actually just copy this, right? And now we can go over to Codex. And the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to press /. I'm going to choose GPT-5 High, which is their best model. I'm going to paste that in and press enter. Then I'm going to go over to Gemini CLI. I'm going to do the same exact thing and press enter. We see we're using Gemini 2.5 Pro. And this will all make more sense. If all of this seems crazy, don't worry. It will seem easy within the next 30 minutes to an hour, I promise. And you can see here, it's still going, but this web view is, we got a little bit of an error here. But don't worry, it's fixed it. See, it just fixed its own little error because it's still coding. But you can see here, it found my TikTok. There it is. It found my Twitter. There it is. It found the LinkedIn for my company. AI tutorials collection. Whoa, what's this? Wait, where is this? So it found this website online in the image of .ai. I have no idea what this is, but they have a website for me, I guess. That's quite interesting. And so now Claude Code is done. Let's go ahead and check on Codex. Codex is still working, and Gemini is still working. If you were running these locally, you would basically have to approve each and every code change. Not every single code change, but it'll say like, are you sure you want to make changes? And you would press yes. You would press yes. In this web version, it's running it on bypass permissions mode, or I think Codex calls it YOLO mode. And I think Gemini also calls it YOLO mode. You can see here it says YOLO mode. So it doesn't ask for any permissions. It just does it. And it also automatically saves. So it automatically saves it to Git, so that like you will save your changes every time. And just to be safe, whenever you're done, just press save. But here, Gemini is kind of going in a different direction, right? It looks a little bit different than Claude here. This is Codex right here. And wow, Codex is going ham. So we cloned an $80 million app in 60 minutes with no code. Ooh, this link is broken. Oh, maybe it hasn't added the links yet because it's not done. Oh, it is done. So it didn't add any of the links, but that's okay. So the point is here is that these different coding models are state of the art. They do act in different ways here. Like you can see here that all of these kind of went in a slightly different direction. Personally, I liked the Gemini direction in terms of styling. Because I think Claude Code is known for being the most popular right now, I want to talk about commands. So commands are different things that you can do within Claude Code that may help you. And you access commands by pressing the slash button. Here we press the slash button. We see add directory, agents, bashes, bug, clear, compact, config, context, cost, etc. Right? The first one I'll go over is cost. So if we hit slash and then scroll down to cost and press enter, we'll see exactly how much we've spent so far. So we've spent 35 cents so far using Claude. One thing that we can do is we can press slash and we can go to model. You can see here this default model is kind of a mixture between Sonnet and Opus. Here we could change it to just Opus, and this is about 5 times as expensive. And I now would type to Opus, right? This model is more powerful. It costs more money than Sonnet. The same is true for GPT-5. We can hit slash model. And right now we're on GPT-5 High, which is a similar cost to Opus. And many people are saying GPT-5 High is the state-of-the-art model right now. It's the best coding model in the world. Personally, for most requests, I use Medium. But once, if I have a really big prompt or when I'm just starting out, I will use GPT-5 High. It's a little bit slower, but wow, it does a really, really good job. So if you've used ChatGPT or if you've used the Claude desktop app, you likely know that the longer the chat thread, the worse the AI becomes. And this is because you fill its context window, which is basically the maximum length of tokens, or in this case, like everything that we've talked about previously, the more stuff it does in a single thread, the worse it gets because it needs to remember what it's done. Right? This is why a lot of people are calling prompt engineering now context management or context engineering, where your job is to make sure it has access to the right context and not irrelevant context or not too much context. You want to make sure that it has the right amount of stuff. So imagine here, I was working on this app for a very, very long time. And it will actually give you this little circle that pops up here saying like you've used X amount of its context window. And that is a sign that you need to use the slash, either the clear command, which will actually reset the chat, right? I'm going to show you this in a second. Or you can use compact. What compact does is it basically takes everything, which might be 1 million tokens in the chat window, and it will actually go through all of it, and it will summarize it down to a chunk so that you now have a lot more context you can add, but it won't forget everything. It might remember some of the main details that you've been working on, which will help it. And I'm going to do slash compact. And what this does is it basically summarizes the conversation. And I'm actually not going to fully do this because it's not necessary. We've only done one prompt. I do want to show you slash clear. This completely resets the chat. So now we have completely reset the chat. Let's say I want to go back to a previous chat, or the next time I come back to this, I can actually go back to a previous chat by typing in slash resume. And you can see here, now we are back at our previous conversation, right? If we want to see what we've done previously, this is a good way to kind of go over all of the different changes you've made, especially if you've made 50 different changes, you can go back to previous conversation. So in summary, for Claude Code, the things that you need to understand are whatever you type here, right? Change Riley Brown to Riley Brown is awesome, right? Whatever I type here, it will make changes to the code and then it will update it here when you run it in the web. When you run it locally, which we will talk about later for the little more advanced section, you do have to do some intermediate steps, like you have to run it locally. Here we do that automatically in this browser in sandbox.dev. But here, whatever we type here, we see the changes here. It really is that simple. And then, of course, I can copy this link here, and then I can share it with anyone, right? I could send it to someone and be like, hey, check out this website that I'm building, and boom, we are in this shareable website here. And then in summary, we can also use commands. And I think the most important ones here are models, right? You want to be able to see which model that you can use, like default Opus or Opus plan mode. We also want to be able to use another command is the clear, which resets the chat. We also have compact, which summarizes the chat. And then we also have cost, so we can see exactly how much it's cost so far. See, we have $1. Notice how it kind of increased in cost once we switched to Opus. That's just the way it works. Okay, so that is just a good introduction to Claude Code. Now you know how to use it. Now let's put it to the test. We're about to do some projects with all three of these most powerful AI coding models in the world. We're going to build some landing pages, marketing page, prototype, artifact, lead magnet, and dashboard. And I think this category, the simple static pages, is kind of what people talk about when they say vibe marketing. So Greg Eisenberg, who's one of my favorite people on the internet, and he's actually become a pretty good friend, he talks a lot about vibe marketing. And Board Marketer, who is his co-founder for one of his companies, they talk a ton about using Claude Code to do vibe marketing. And vibe marketing is this new wave of really fast iteration, fast prototypes, fast validation. And I'll explain what I mean by this. You can, with natural language, spin up landing pages, and these landing pages can collect information, right? You can say that you're working on a tool, release a landing page, put it out there on the internet, get people to sign up or even pay you money before you even release the product. Then you can use that money to create a product. Or you can release landing pages for specific features within your app, or create a wait list. Or you can just allow people to sign up for a course. You can do all these different things. You can create prototypes for an app that you want to build, and you can get really quick validation, right? One of the biggest parts of running a business, especially on the internet, is you really want to validate your ideas quickly, right? You want to be able to very quickly validate whether or not a business idea or tool is worth having in the world, right? You should get feedback from users as quickly as possible. And so that is kind of the first type of tools that I want to create today. And so we can actually click on this here at the top. We can go back home and we can actually launch a new terminal. And we're going to create a landing page, right? We can click on Claude Code. And the best one for a landing page is Next.js. And we are going to press continue, just like last time. So I don't actually really like making landing pages that much. I much rather build like actual tools. But one thing Claude Code is really good at is just taking a simple image as inspiration. And so we can actually save this to our computer. And with Claude Code, you can actually upload images, right? You can actually upload images directly to Claude Code, and we can press attach image, browse files, and we can attach this screenshot, and we can just paste this image directly in here. Please create a landing page for my app. Vibecodeapp.com is the current site, but I want to make it look more like this. Please use this styling, but keep the copy for Vibe Code app and make it really good for conversions. And so we're going to be using the best coding models in the world for simple things like landing pages. And so we can now run this. And while this is loading, I'm actually going to go ahead and I'm actually just going to continue on this same one. I'm just going to say, okay, completely restart Codex. I want to actually make this landing page for this. And then we can paste that in here and we can run that. In Gemini, we can actually do the same thing. And I know it says Codex. Make a new landing page like the style of the image. And so now we're creating 3 different versions of the landing page, and we're just going to get to choose, right? We're going to choose between Claude Code, the best coding model in the world, Codex, likely the second or first best coding model in the world, or Gemini, the third best coding model in the world. It's pretty nice. And all we need to do is just have one subscription and just open them up in the web, which is pretty insane. All right. And basically, I think we're done on all of them. Ooh, Gemini did not do that well. But I mean, look at this. Claude Code created this right now. Don't make coding complicated. Skip setup, skip configuration. All right, so now we can actually just make a change. Go boom. Please change this to the app that builds mobile apps. The left phone in the two phones, please make it a more neutral background color, like dark gray. The pink is off-putting. Please make it look like a shopping app. And then see here. So what I want to do is I want to change this copy right here. So all I have to do is just copy this. And I'm just going to say for this section, right? We just now, like we're context managing here, right? We want it to know exactly what we're talking about. I'm just going to paste that here. Make this about the app that builds mobile apps. And then one thing that we can do is we can use Whisperflow. Whisperflow is an app that allows us to speak to our computer. And you can go look that up. WISPR space flow. It allows you to very easily talk to your computer. I'm going to do that now. Please make the left one say, build an app in seconds with our mobile app. For the second one, say, this is the first ever app that builds mobile apps directly on your phone. The third one should be share with anyone and remix templates. And now we can enter that in and it'll immediately start building. And if you don't like waiting, like me, you can just go to the next window. And here we're doing this on multiple windows. You'll notice here, it actually went to the Vibecode app website and pulled this image. It took the image from it and inserted it into this website. And here it says the app that builds apps, describe what you want. So now there's those weird squigglies in the back, but let's actually go ahead. I'm going to copy this. I'm going to open it up full screen. If you press this button right here, it'll open it up in a new tab. Ooh, this looks a lot better full screen, actually. This looks pretty good. Get the app, right? Here's the Apple Play Store, Google Play Store. You know what? I don't want these things in these little components. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a photo of this right here, and I'm going to go back to Codex. And so I'm going to attach an image, right? We can browse our files, copy this in. This will give us a link. We can copy this, and we're going to paste in the link here. We're going to say, please don't put the component around the black rectangles for App Store or Google Play. Please just put the, and sometimes the formatting gets a little bit weird. Put the black buttons, alone. Ooh, that's weird. Here we can say, okay, this is so boring. I want a full landing page. And remember, I actually told this to be minimal, right? I told this to be minimal when we first made this like Japanese style app. That could have been one of the reasons why it didn't make it very well, because it's sticking with that original Japanese style. And keep this style, but please find vibecodeapp.com, search it, then add some copy to this site that makes it better, and add one really cool animated section that draws attention, right? We're trying to create a landing page for our own app or whatever idea that you have. You can see here, it made these changes. It took these buttons outside of the components, which looks really, really, really good. We can see it full screen right here, and we can see the buttons are much easier to press, and it has these little squigglies. We can press get the app. I don't know if this will take us to the app. Let's see. Yes, it literally took us to the app, and that's pretty cool. Here's Claude Code. It did edit this second phone here, right? This phone here now has a dark gray background. We can open up this one full screen. Let's take a look at this. Vibecode, log in, sign up, start coding free. This button doesn't go anywhere, but here we go. We have this clean little landing page. So in the last section, we're going to talk about deployments. So don't worry about that now. I'm going to show you how to get this on the internet under your own domain, but that's going to come a little bit later because we're going to do that at the same time as mobile apps at the end. And we're going to really dive into that. But while you're creating this, you can always just send these to people. You can send these shareable links very easily. You can just share them with your friends. Okay, so the next thing that we can create is a lead magnet, or we can collect information. So imagine for a second that I created a big guide, right? This is a good example of something that would be a guide, right? If I completely created this presentation that I wanted to put on the internet, but I wanted to get something in return. This is called a lead magnet, where I put it on the internet and I require someone to send me their email, and I will actually send them this guide, and this will allow me to collect leads or allow me to provide additional value. And this is a really, really easy way to do it, and I'm about to show you. And so let's say you create any sort of PDF. You could do this on Gamma, you could do it on Canva, you can do it on Excalidraw. Some of these are my favorite ones to just kind of like create an info guide and send it out to people. One thing you can do is you can hit share. And what we're going to do is we are going to hit public view link, and we're going to copy this public view link. And if we go to a website called Tally, we can actually create a new form. This is the format that I normally use, right? This is a form here. So you could say get the guide, and there's a bunch of templates built into Tally, but basically it's like, what is your name? I want to include an exclamation point or a question mark. And here you can just gather some information if you want, like do you use Claude or Codex or whatever information you want. And the cool thing about this is if you just press slash, you can choose from a ton of things. You can choose from matrix, a linear scale, like on a scale from 1 to 10, did you like the video, right? And you can just collect as much information as you want. And then what we can do is we can add a new page, right? So I'm going to delete this right really quick. I'm going to do slash page, new page. Now they won't see this page until they press next. This is where we're going to put the guide. We'll say get your guide. We'll paste it right here. And now they can get it after they've given us their email so that we can include them in email marketing later in case you create a new product later and you want to send them an email directly. That is incredibly useful. And so you might think, wait, this is not part of vibe coding. What do you mean? What are you going to do with this? Well, it's as easy as going up here. We can hit publish. Now what we can do is it shows this like menu right here after you publish it. And we can actually go to share and embed forms. And so here, I'm actually going to embed it in the page just like this. We can see here that it looks exactly like this. And I'm going to hit copy. I'm going to hit get the code. And here, I'm just going to copy all of this. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go to sandbox.dev. We're going to use Claude Code to create a landing page that we can put on the internet. So I'm going to go to Claude Code, Next.js, continue with Claude Code. Okay, so now we have Claude Code open. And what we want to do is we want to create our own custom landing page and collect that information where that data is sent to us. In this case, Tally is basically a place that's storing all of that information, right? I can go see all of the things that I've collected information for. Some of these I've collected 899. This one I select, this is 6,000 emails that I've collected for the VibeCode app way back in, I don't even remember, in April. And what we can do here is we can just paste in this embed code, right? It's called get the guide. We basically just go to share. We want this standard embed code. We say get the code. We'll just copy this in. Now we go back to Claude Code. I created a full vibe coding guide This guide explains all of the things that people need to know about vibe coding to turn their idea into an app without writing a single line of code. Please make a very clean landing page and then add this tally link into it. I want to embed this tally link so that people can fill out the information to get the guide. Make it really simple, but make it good. Now I'm going to paste in that text, right? The text that we're pasting in is this HTML code right here, and we're just going to press enter. Okay, while this is loading, what I want to show you is that you can do other things with these landing pages, right? Because it's so easy to create a landing page, you don't only need to create it for, standard landing pages for a website. You can just create these static artifacts or presentations. And so what we could do here is we can actually let's go ahead and open up another Claude Code with Next.js. And we can actually create a presentation. And imagine for a second that you just wrote out a massive Notion doc, or you had a Google Doc with a ton of your research, or you have internal company research that you've done. You can basically just paste that in here and create a presentation with Claude Code, a full-on presentation. And so I'm going to show you how to do that. So we can browse files here. I just took a screenshot of that resource guide just to give it some things to talk about. And so we can copy this URL and paste in. So we basically just paste it in that image. Please create a PowerPoint, a landing page. Make sure to specify to make it a landing page that is a slide deck. I want these slides to be full screen and make it a presentation on this topic, and I want to be able to toggle between the slides and make these slides super minimal, white background, black text, teenage engineering styling, light color around the edges. I don't know. I'm just coming up with a random style. Make at least 9 slides based on your research on the topic that is shown in the image. So we just entered this in right here. We gave it an image and we said create a landing page that is a slide deck, right? So now it's creating a landing page that is a slide deck, and we're going to immediately be able to share these with people. Let's go ahead and go back to this. Check this out. So here's our landing page that we created. We can copy this. Now what we can do is let's go ahead and act as if we shared this link with someone else. We could immediately paste this on social media, and as long as we have our sandbox open, people could actually open this link, and here we go. Turn your ideas into apps without writing code. And here we could put, my name is Jim Bob at jimbob@gmail.com, and I really liked this video. We can hit next. Oops, what do you like? Oh, Claude. Great. Next. Oh, get your guide. Here's the guide. And what you'll notice is, right, and so that's how people would get the guide if you posted on social media, and you could customize that site to look exactly how you wanted it, right? And you, in return, would get some information. You would get a lead for your business. It says, thanks for completing this form. And on Tally, it should show up here. If we go to summary, we see that we have 1 response from Riley, and here are all the responses. And so you actually just gather a ton of leads for your business. And let's go back to the presentation. Check this out. So this is really cool, actually. So this is the slide deck. We see that it has slides 1 to 10. We can open this up full screen, and it's still making changes, right? But we see we have this slide deck, and we can actually toggle static pages, web app, full stack web applications, right? And it's just basically taking all the stuff that I put here, right? This is an outline that I made, and it's making this into a presentation. Now we have this presentation right here, and I can easily change it, right? I could go back here and I could say, please, can you add icons? Find cool icons that match teenage engineering vibes. Download packages if you have to. Make cool icons. And so we're just testing it here. I actually don't know how it's going to do with this, but you can see here, you created just a slide deck, right? You don't need to use a slide deck tool. You can just make it a landing page. And it's by default, it's shareable, right? If we were to go send it to someone else and they opened it I'm opening it in incognito to simulate another user opening it, but anyone can just open this, right? You can use it, you can share it, you can give a presentation like this. And later we're actually going to talk about deploying it. So you can create these landing pages and immediately deploy it to the internet and share it with other people. And you could even put a paywall on it, right? You only get access to this if you pay. We're also going to talk about that later. And if you check this out, it added icons to every single slide. And as you can see here, it creates this very clean, simple presentation, right? We could say, okay, scrap the subject matter of this presentation and do research on the latest in AI image generation and editing. Focus on the Nano Banana. Let's do ideogram API with character and GPT image and other similar models released in the previous 3 months. Please make the slides about that. Keep the styling. All right, we can completely change it. And the point is here is you just have full control and you can create whatever you want here and it will search the internet. It's awesome. And look at that. We have 10 new slides on Nano Banana. We could say, and it's a real-time character preservation, targeted edits, Gemini integration, and we could use this, right? We could use this as a slide deck. You know, we can make some changes. We could say, one thing I don't like about it is, please, can you pin the slide navigator to the bottom right? Like, please put it pinned to an edge to the corner so that the heights of each slide are not different. And for the and please align the text of the slides to the left, not centered. And please add a little border just at the top or something. I don't know. Point is, you have full control over this, which is awesome. And I mean, come on, look at this. We can press this button right here and we have this slide deck that we can present. It pinned this to the bottom right. Now we basically can just create any digital experience that we want just by asking Claude Code to create it. And we have these shareable links. I could immediately, if I was live streaming, I could share it with my audience and we can deploy this. And so yeah, that's a landing page, a lead magnet, and an artifact or a presentation that we've created. But let's create a few more static pages before we move on to creating real web apps with databases and AI features. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna open up a Claude Code window. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go to sandbox.dev. And here I actually wanna open up a Codex window. So let's do Codex with GPT-5. For this one, let's do Next.js. And then for the third one, I'm actually gonna do Claude again, and we're gonna create a game. So we're gonna create a static, really easy game here. And so we can hit Claude Code. We're gonna go to game dev and hit Three.js, and we're gonna create a game. For this first one, I wanna create a prototype. So this right here is a tool that I love to use to create prototypes, and it's just Excalidraw. And this is normally the tool that I use to like create like just drawings, and it's just my favorite Canvas app. And what we can do is we can actually just create a really quick prototype on here for an app that we want. Let's say we want to create an app that allows us to edit YouTube thumbnails. And so let's say we want to create an app that has our YouTube thumbnail right here, right? Let's imagine we have a YouTube thumbnail right here. Let's go ahead and we just want to change this background to something different, right? So here, I'm just going to say thumbnail, and then I'm going to drag this down here, and I'm going to input text. This will be left aligned, And I'm just going to make this text definitely a little bit smaller. This text will be smaller. And I'm just going to say like this. So point here, user types here to edit the thumbnail above. And then here is where user uploads their thumbnail. And we can drag this arrow right here. And here's this prototype. What do we want to name this? Nail.ai. Nail.ai. And here at the bottom, we're going to have versions. And maybe this is a bottom tab here. So let's go like this. Maybe we'll have like this versions bar at the bottom here. Maybe the background for this is like a little bit lighter, right? Because as we edit the thumbnail, it's going to have different versions. And so what we can do is we can put the thumbnail where we can put V1, V2, etc. So this input text will go right here and V3. So I'm just kind of drawing this out on Excalidraw right here. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to screenshot this, and I'm going to allow this to just save to my computer. We're going to go to Claude Code, and we're going to create a prototype, and I'm going to switch this to Opus. So I'm going to change it to model, and we're going to go to Opus. Please create a prototype, and we're going to be using WhisperFlow again. So I'm going to speak to my computer for an app that allows me to edit my thumbnails. And so it starts off with me uploading a thumbnail, and then I can type to edit it, and the versions will go down below. I just want to create a prototype for this, right? I just want to be able to upload images, right? Right now, I want to be able to do that, and then type some text, and then I want an up arrow that's inside the dialog box that's 2 lines high right below this YouTube thumbnail. And then I want versions to go below, and that should open up after I enter in one edit to the thumbnail. And please look at the image I'm going to attach for you and make everything minimal. I just want you to focus on the layout right now, and it shows up as pasted text 1. Now we need to attach that image, so we can browse files. We're going to paste in that screenshot, copy to the clipboard, paste it in, enter. So here's the full prompt that was entered. Now we wait for Opus to be done. This could take a little bit. It's got to analyze the image. It has a lot of work to do. So we're creating a prototype. Another thing that we could do is we could create a business dashboard. So I'm going to pretend that I have data, right? We can actually generate some data. Please generate some fictional data for my lumber company. Actually, for my barber shop, I have 6 barbers. Please generate data for the month for each of them randomly. Make it realistic. So we can generate a bunch of data with ChatGPT very easily. We could have done this just directly in the sandbox.dev. And yeah, so I'm going to let ChatGPT begin making this data. So what we can do here is we can actually just copy this whole thing. We can copy all the data here. We can just copy all the data. And what we're going to do is we are going to go to Codex. We're going to hit /model. Remember, you can do that on both Codex and Claude. And we're going to do GPT-5 high. I'm going to go ahead and paste this in. Okay, pasted content. Please create a business dashboard for my barber shop, Riley's Barber Shop. Have multiple slides for this to look at the data in interesting ways. This will be used to attract investors. So now we can create this. As you can see here, all of this was pasted in. You can just take any data and paste it in and create a dashboard. We will see what gets created. Here, we can create a game. So with Claude, we're going to go model. Again, I'm going to go ahead and use Opus because I think that is the best for creating games. This right here is Three.js. I encourage you to just trust me that this is the best stack or pre-built template for games. Let's just create a simple game. I want you to create a game that allows me to fly around and collect coins. This should be a fun game. Please search the internet and get inspo from other popular games. Maybe look up popular games on GitHub in 3.js that are fun and cool with a lot of stars. Okay, so now we're creating a dashboard, we're creating a game, and here we have our prototype. I'm not loving what I'm seeing here in this prototype. Let's check this out here. So we can upload this screenshot. Oh, you upload it, then the instructions come in, and we say, make this larger, enter. Okay, now the versions come in. I actually like this. Make it better. Okay, so it adds different versions. This is very cool. So we can create a prototype. Okay, so now this is too white. Please make the background have dots in the background like graph paper, kinda, but lighter gray. And then add a title at top left called nail.ai and make the background of the input field a gray to light gray gradient and make it just look cooler. The up arrow enter button should be more fun to press. So we're just continuing along. We want to make changes to this. This is boring to me, right? We want to make this look much cooler. We're getting an error here, it appears. That's okay. This is good. This is the first error we've gotten in this video. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to say, we got this error. Please, can you fix this right now? And the game is still generating. Okay, let's check on our game. I'm going to go ahead and open this up in a new tab. Ooh, this already looks better. Notice here we have this like dotted background here. We can upload this thumbnail. Let's go ahead and choose a better thumbnail. Oh, here's one of my actual thumbnails. Now it has this like gray gradient. I don't love the blue light up. Make his hair blue. Enter. Next. Yes. You see here, we're kind of creating it. Obviously, it's not actually editing it. That's actually for later once we get into APIs. But this is a pretty cool prototype. And this would be for my fictional site, nail.ai. Let's move along. Okay, our single prompt, right? We've entered in one prompt here. The prompt was to turn this CSV file into a dashboard. We can go ahead and open this up, right? This link is immediately shareable. Here we can kind of scroll through here, right? We see that our total revenue paid. It took all of that data. And here's the pay per day. Here are the service plus tips for all of the different people here. The tip percentage of service. Okay, David's doing something right. Here we see payment methods. Here we have card. So mostly that makes a lot of sense. Here we see some other data. And here's the cumulative pay, right? Which is 4972, which is close to the same. 4972 is the same as this right here. And then finally, let's go ahead and check on the game, right? So this is a game that we created where you could fly around and collect coins. I told it to search GitHub to find some inspiration. Skycoins Adventure. I'm not a huge fan of this name, but let's go ahead and start flying. Okay, I'm in the air. Whoa, look at this. So I'm like a paper airplane. It doesn't look at all like a paper airplane, but we are flying around. I mean, look at that. When it hits Game over. So I can't hit the red things, right? This paper airplane does not look at all like a paper airplane. But we can collect these coins. So I just got 10 coins. Let's see if I can, oh, no, I missed. I need to get some more coins. I cannot, my depth perception on here is not great. I'm just going to die. Game over. Okay, great. So we created a game, right? And so in this little section, like I showed you that we could create a landing page. We created a lead magnet. We created a prototype for a thumbnail app, which is right here, right? This little thumbnail prototype that we may actually use again later in this video. We created this dashboard, this interactive dashboard that's like really immersive. I'm not a huge fan of the styling, but we could change that. And then we created a game, right? We created all of these things that we can immediately share. And eventually you're going to know how to deploy them to the internet. And this is only going to get easier and easier as time goes on. That's why right now it's the best time to learn how to vibe code. You want to do it while it's a little bit hard, right? Because everyone's going to be doing it in like a year or two. But yeah, that's what we can create in terms of static landing pages. And so we are just now getting into the fun part, which is the web app. Now we can create web apps that have a database. So your friends are going to be able to sign in and use it live. And you're going to be able to see their data update in real time. And I'm going to show you a ton of really cool web app examples. And yeah, let's move on to the next section. Now we're getting to the fun part. So I think it's time to bring out the special pencil because we are going to begin building full-on web apps, and that includes database and authentication, and this is about to get much more fun. Same thing as earlier, we're going to go ahead and open up sandbox.dev. We're going to press enter. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up InstantDB. Many people who vibe code use Supabase, which is a place where people do auth and database. We think it's much worse, much harder. AI is really bad at Supabase, and we run into a lot of problems. InstantDB makes it incredibly easy to work with. Don't expose this key. I'm going to delete this key at the end of this video. This is basically all you need. So when you create an account on InstantDB, which is where all of the data is going to be stored for the app that we're about to create, you need to create a new app. And so remember, all you need to do is go to instantdb.com. Okay, that is the domain. And when you create an account, you're going to get a dashboard. And then you're going to create new app. And we're going to call this Riley to Do app. We're going to start off really, really simple. We're going to hit let's go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this public app ID. Right? This is the key that you need to communicate with the database for this app. And so within Vibe Code Sandbox, what we're going to do is we're going to open up Claude Code. We're going to go Next.js. This is kind of the old reliable stack. And we're going to hit continue with Claude Code and Next.js. Okay, so now we have this Riley to Do app, and we can just copy this key right here. And we're going to create a basic to-do list app. I want you to research InstantDB. This is what I will be using for database and auth. I want to implement a sign-in page, and users can create notes. They can edit their notes and upload images as attachments to their notes. Please use this public app ID for InstantDB. We're going to paste this in right here. This is my key. Please do research on this and use the docs for InstantDB so that it works on the first try. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to copy this and I'm going to run it. So you can see here that it's actually loading right now. And we see this sign in with email, sign in with Google. I've never actually done the sign in with Google on InstantDB before. I've always found that the sign in with email feature within InstantDB is the easiest way to test both database and authentication. Okay, so it's done loading. We basically just entered one prompt and it loaded for a very long time. It basically had to search all of the InstantDB docs. I have no idea if this is going to work, but I'm going to enter my email. So Riley, so for whatever reason, it's a little bit weird. The styling is showing up a little bit weird, but we're going to send a magic code. So now it's sending a verification code. So I'm going to check my email. Now we have this verification code. We can copy this. So this allows us to sign into our profile. So we just signed in. Yeah, the styling up here of my notes title. Hello, this is my note. This is my note. I am typing now. I don't know why it's styled like this, but we can create this note. We can see here, hello, I am typing now. This note, it seems like it was entered into the database. So if we go to InstantDB and we are on Riley To Do app, which is the Riley To Do app 1, we go to Explorer. So we have files, users. Okay, let me refresh this. Okay, so we have one note. This is my note. I am typing now. Title, hello, this is my note. So it was entered into the database. If I signed out and signed in, right, as a different user other than this user right here, I wouldn't be able to see my note, at least in theory. What I want to do here is I'm just going to screenshot this and I'm going to attach this image here. So we're going to browse files, screenshot. This image here shows what it looks like. For whatever reason, when I type, the text is really light on the light background. Please fix this. And then also, please really simplify. Please really make this look sleek. I hate the way this looks. Take inspo from bare note. Make it look more like that, but don't break the database and auth. That does work great. And so now we're going to wait. Okay, so it's done. It looks a lot different. I'm already signed in, so we can hit new note. Hello, my name is Riley. Again, I welcome you to my first note. Smiley face. Yay. So we can hit save. And look at that. It enters it in here. This looks a lot better. This new note button, I don't like the color. Change the color of the new note button. Please, can you make it dark gray, but when I hover, make it look really clickable. Please, can you also allow me to, wait, let me see if I can do something. Testing images. Oh, hello, I am about to save images to this. Let's see if the files, so I want to see if we can upload files. So I'm going to hit choose file. We're going to do this screenshot and we're going to hit save. Okay, we got an issue. Failed to fetch on window headers properly. Okay, upload images properly. I got this error. Please, can you fix this? Paste that in, enter. Okay, let's go ahead and test this again. We're going to hit new note, test, image, choose a file, do this screenshot. We're still running into an image. Here, let's. Oh, did that work? For whatever reason, the images might not be working. I'm getting an error. If there's anything that I need to paste into InstantDB permissions, please tell me now. I want this to work. Okay, I'm going to explain what I mean by that in just a second. Permission denied has not storage permissions. Okay, this is great. Whenever I get multiple errors in a row, on InstantDB, if you go to permissions, you can like paste stuff in here. I know that it has the power to actually update that straight, like Claude Code can do it. It doesn't always do it. Please give me what I need to paste into the permissions. And now we're going to wait for that. Okay, so correct InstantDB storage permissions. Use this simpler version that works. Okay, I'm going to copy this. Save. Huzzah, your rules have been updated. Now let's go ahead and upload an image. Wait, save. Where is it? There it is. Okay, our image is now loading. So we can see, here is the image. Very, very cool. We literally have an app that you can sign into. We have a new note that you can create. And you can sign in, sign out. We can try signing in. I'll just sign in again, Riley at notanumber.com. And we can send a magic code. We can open the code, right? This is how we sign in. I have not yet tried Google sign in yet. I don't know if that works, but new note. Hi, we can choose file and upload one of these images. I don't know why it goes down to the bottom, but there we go. The point is we now created a web app that your friends can sign into. And what's cool about this is, see, this sandbox link will allow me to sign in directly on my phone. I can sign in from the same account, or I can sign in with a different email account. And you now have this web app that you can use in the sandbox. And again, we're going to talk about deployments a little bit later. Okay. So we created this really simple notes app. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open up a new sandbox. We're going to dive into my favorite section of this entire video, which is APIs. And APIs are really fun in the AI era because there are so many brand new AI experiences you can create for your users. And it's just so much fun in the era of AI agents. So what we've done so far is we created a very simple notes app, and it was really cool, right? We created a notes app. It had a database. Users could sign in, and you could add notes, upload images, and it was all stored in InstantDB. We're going to create another app, another web app right now, except we're going to utilize some really cool APIs. So what APIs are, for those of you who've used ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT is an AI model that is packaged into a really nice experience. ChatGPT started as GPT-3, which was technology that was an AI model trained on language, but it didn't actually start out in ChatGPT. ChatGPT was the packaging of this technology that made it go viral, that created the AI revolution. And that is a really key thing to understand, that there might be experiences that you can create as someone, as a vibe coder, that could unlock a new way of experiencing technology that could be a multi-million-dollar business. And if we look here, right, like ChatGPT is like text to text. That's at least how it started, right? You type some text as an input, and then the AI responds with a text answer. And then you might respond again. And then recently, right, you can upload images, right? So now it's image to text, right? It can respond with text. Now it can also respond with images, right? ChatGPT can also respond with images. And the OpenAI image model is very good. And then there's also a lot of image models, right? Nano Banana by Google was just released. And so if you go to a website like Krea and you want to create an image, right? What we can do is we can actually upload an image. We can change this to Nano Banana. We can select this model. We can upload an image. Let's find a image that would be good. So we're going to upload this screenshot of me, or this thumbnail, and I'm going to say, make the man wearing sunglasses. And we are using the Nano Banana technology, except Krea, Krea is almost $1 billion company at this point, one of the fastest growing companies in the creative AI space right now. And it is using the APIs of all of the popular tools. And so you can use Nano Banana to make these edits, right? And so I can remove this image, and what I can do is I can download this one, and we can use this one. So now we have this image of me wearing sunglasses, and I can say, make his hair longer. And we are using the Nano Banana technology that Google created through Krea. Krea is the experience packaged of this Nano Banana technology, and make it blonde, right? We're making the hair longer, and we're making it blonde. And we can just continue this path of editing these images. And you can see here that we are using Nano Banana. And there you go. I now have long hair. I don't like the way my mouth looks. So I'm going to just show you. Like, this is a pretty cool experience that you can create with other people's technology, right? That is one of the points here, is like these AI models are getting so good. There's so many different use cases, right? Girls might want to use them to edit their Instagram pictures. Guys might want them for YouTube thumbnails. That's kind of how I would want to use this. And we can just continue this iteration. And using some of these tools is a good way to train your brain into understanding what all of these different APIs do. And so let's say that I wanted to actually use this Nano Banana technology. One thing that I really like to do is, remember the stack that we've been using. We've been using Claude Code and Next.js. We've been using Next.js. One thing you could do is you can go to any AI model, and we can say, Next.js, this is the stack that I'm using. I want to create an app that lets me edit images. Please write in this app, I would upload my image, and then I would just type the edit that I want it to make, and I want it to send it to the Google API, and I want it to make the edit and return the image, and I want this to work perfectly. So please give me the documentation that I need to make this work in the proper language. This is a brand new model. Find the right documentation and write out all the code that I should provide to an AI agent to make this app. You can do this same prompt in ChatGPT. In fact, I'm going to do that as well. So I'm going to enter this into Perplexity. We can give this to ChatGPT as well. Any AI model, we're basically searching the internet. We're taking information about an API, right? This API that we're going to use, which is Nano Banana, which allows people to edit images. I want to make it in my own app. I'm going to make it specifically for YouTube thumbnails. And then we're going to create our own app for this. And we're going to use brand new AI technology. So Perplexity responded, and I've used Perplexity for a very long time with this stuff. I'm just going to copy this right here. And of course, we're going to go to sandbox.dev. We already created a prototype for this earlier. So earlier we created this prototype for Nail.ai, which is this very simple Nail.ai app. We can upload a thumbnail, right? We can upload this, and we can say, make his glasses red, and we can press enter. Obviously it doesn't do it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I want to make this prototype come to life. I want this to work with the brand new image model called Nano Banana by Google. I want this to work perfectly and have versions, and I want to be able to select the version I want to edit. So I want to be able to rapid fire enter in prompts to edit the first thumbnail that I want to be able to edit the thumbnail, and then I want, after it's done loading, to show up, and then I immediately want to enter in a new prompt to edit that brand new thumbnail. And I want to do that over and over again and be able to go back to previous versions to edit that one. Please think deeply about this, right? Think very deeply about this. I'm going to give you some documentation on this new Nano Banana technology. Search the internet more if you have to, and really think about how you can make this work. I really want it to work. So we're entering that prompt. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste that prompt from Perplexity which explains basically how to use this technology. And now here is my Gemini API key. So anytime you use an API, right? Anytime you use an API, you need to have an API key. So we're using the Gemini API. It's part of Gemini, and Nano Banana is like a subset. So it's a technology within Gemini. So we're using Nano Banana. In order to use any of the Gemini AI APIs, you need an API key. This API key is kind of like a password that like connects your account to the application that you're using, right? Because it's not free. It's very cheap to use, in my opinion. And this password, you need to basically give this password to Claude. And so Claude is going to paste this key into the app that we make. So we're making an app, and Claude is going to give this key to our app. So our app is basically going to communicate with Gemini. And this is going to happen like, so we're going to communicate with Gemini, and we're going to do this when the user prompts our application, right? Anytime a user prompts our application or types into the edit box, right? You can see here, remember we created this prototype earlier. We're going to upload our thumbnail. Anytime a user types into this input prompt, the app is going to communicate with the Gemini API and say like, hey, I want to edit this image. Here's the API key. And if you have an API key and it has sufficient credits, it will allow it. And then the Gemini API will send an image back to the app, and then the user, right? And then the user is happy or sad, right? Maybe the image is bad, right? If you do a bad job setting up the app, it could fail, right? If you do a bad job coding this. And so you might need to do some testing. Maybe the API won't work perfectly. And so what we need to do is we need to get the Gemini API key. To do this, I'm going to go to Google AI Studio. And we just need to create an account on Google AI Studio. And we need to hit Get an API Key. Get API Key, create an API key. We can just select any project or create a new project. And we can actually test this out for free. Google's they do give you a lot of credits for free. So I can copy that API key. And we need to go back to the app that we were creating right here. Here's the key. This is the key. Please make this app fully work as a YouTube thumbnail editor. And we're going to press enter. I'm going to very quickly hit escape, and I'm just going to go /model. I'm going to make sure, okay, I'm going to switch to Opus. Okay, please continue. And now we're on Opus, which is a much better model. This is a more complex task. It has to read documentation, and it has to implement the API key and make this feature work. This is the main feature of the app. So I'm going to use Opus to make sure that it does a lot better. Okay, let's give this another test. We can open this up in a new tab. We are going to choose, let's go ahead and choose this. Please make him smiling. And here we go. It's not failing immediately, which tells me I think it's going to work, but we will see. Boom, it works. So we should be able to click. Okay, so we can click through the different versions. Please make his hair brown and give him an orange turtleneck. His hair brown and longer, and give him a turtleneck. Amazing. Okay, this is very cool. Oh, wow. That works very well. That's insane. And, you know, Krea is, like I said, a multi-billion-dollar company. And now we created an app that, in my opinion, might actually be a better UI. I have one more idea on how we can make it better. But first, what I want to do is I'm actually going to compact this. Just because the conversation's getting a little bit longer, I want to make sure, right, we have a lot of conversation going on here. I want to compact it so that the AI performs a little bit better. And so while it's compacting, I'm going to enter in my prompt. So I want you to make the image that is uploaded and edited bigger by like 1.5x. And then I want you to make the versions almost seem like a sidebar on the right. Right now, they are too big. Please, can you make them smaller and on the right so I can see more of them? And the full image thumbnail should be visible, but they should just be small. Please. Actually, that's probably good. We can run this. Right? This is a little bit big. I want to see more of this thumbnail. I want to get in detail. And then I want to put these a little bit over here. And I feel like that'll be fire for Nail.ai. This could legit make a decent amount of money. Ooh, it's making changes live. You see that? Now it should make it a little bit smaller. Let's see. This is great. Ooh, this is good. It made it the same width. Now hopefully it edits the version history. And see, it's making changes. Let's see. Okay, it's a little bit smaller. We are getting a little bit cut off here on the side. Let's just say add a gold chain to his neck. Good. Okay, we can scroll up and down. Please make the sidebar a little bit smaller. All the images should appear slightly smaller. And right now, the selected image on the side has a blue ring around it, and that is being cut off. You can see this is like being cut off all weirdly right here. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. Okay, so now we have this chain. Yeah, I want this to be smaller. I don't like this like blue ring is getting cut off here. I don't want that to happen. Okay, now let's see if we upload a new image here. Make the man on the right have bigger eyes and blonde hair. Make the man on the right labeled weirdo and make him wearing a tank top. Make the man on the right have a thick mustache. French mustache. This is crazy. This works great. I love this app. And yeah, we created this, you know, and we gave him a mustache. Wait, we can copy this image, right? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. This is insane. This is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so let's think about what we've done so far, right? We've created a bunch of different static pages, and a lot of these fall under the vibe marketing category, right? Creating landing pages, collecting information through lead magnets, creating artifacts like the presentation, the dashboard, and other prototypes. We then used that same prototype to create an app that used an API. The API that we chose to use was this Nano Banana API, and we created an app that we could edit thumbnails using this Nano Banana API. And we also created a simple notes app with a database and authentication. And this was a web app. So we created a web app and we've created static pages. What I want to do now is I want to move over to the mobile app category. So I want to show you that the same way you can just go to an app or a site and build web apps with the most powerful tools, you can also do it on mobile. And so the way that you do this is we're going to go ahead and open up our phone, and we are going to go to Vibe Code. And here we get access to those same models, Claude Sonnet. We're going to use Claude for Opus, or we could use GPT-5. Right now, I'm going to go ahead and use Claude Opus 4.1. Remember, we were talking yesterday about APIs. We were talking about using Claude, which is a powerful AI chat model, OpenAI, which has access to a lot of different APIs, right? You can use just the GPT-5 API. So if you could basically create your own custom chatbot, you could use Gemini. You could do the same thing. 11 Labs. Vibe Code app comes pre-built with OpenAI. It has Gemini. It also has xAI, so Grok, and it also has Anthropic. So it has these 4 APIs automatically built in and 11 Labs. The app that I want to create right now is a voice notes app, and you'll see here that the APIs are built in directly. So I can say, I want you to build an app that allows me to speak a voice note. Use the OpenAI API with Whisper. I want to use Whisper to get the transcription of that voice note, and then I want to convert it into an AI summary. And yeah, I want to be able to record a voice note. I want a big button at the very bottom of the phone, and it should be a pill that's almost the width of the bottom of the phone that says record. And I want these to show up in a very simple list, top to bottom on the screen, white background, relatively simple. And then when I click on it, I want it to open from the right into a notes details page where it shows the transcript as a button. I can click it to open the full transcript, but it shows a summary. And I also want to use the OpenAI API to summarize it, and then also use the OpenAI API to use AI to title the note as well. Please build this app. The app name should be called Monkey Note. So here we go. We are using the same models that we were using in Sandbox directly on our phone to build a mobile app that we can get on the App Store. So we can enter this in right here. And now the agent is going to work, and it will literally make the app on our phone, and we can continue making changes just like in the Sandbox. Okay, so it appears like it's done. And once it's done, it'll just start bundling. So it's building the app directly on the phone. And here we go. We have Monkey Note. Let's see if this works. Hello, this is a test note to see if Monkey Note, the app that I just made, is working. I hope that it's working. Okay, we're getting this error. Remember, it's a very similar process. So I'm going to go ahead and paste in this error, and let's see if that fixes it, right? In order to edit your app, all you do is you press this little orange button on the side, you paste in your prompt, very similar to Claude Code on the computer. And you can just copy your error and paste it right back in. That's what I normally do. And hopefully it fixes it. I feel like this is local storage that has been saved from a different app that I've created previously. But we'll see if this works. Okay, so it's done. We have Monkey Note. We're immediately getting this render error. So I'll copy that for later. Let me see if this works. Hello. Uh-oh, I'm getting an error. I'm still recording, even though I'm getting some errors. There's just all kinds of errors here. Riley Brown is talking about errors on his app, Monkey Note. Okay. Processing, transcribing your note. Okay. We got so many errors, but look at this. Okay. What is happening? Okay. We're getting all kinds of weird errors. There's so many errors going on right now. I don't fully understand what's going on. There's errors when I start recording. There's errors after I start recording. I'll paste one of them below. Please really just think about how to simplify how this works and just make it work properly. The summaries are working and the app looks good. I'm just getting these weird errors. Okay. A lot of vibe coding, you do have to deal with debugging, right? And I copied one of the errors. I'm just going to paste it right here, and we'll see if Opus figures this out. And again, remember, in Claude code, remember the clear, the /clear command. The way that you do this is you press this little eraser right here on the phone. You can see that clears the chat. We are definitely going to move this. This is not a good place to have the clear chat. In fact, this whole sheet is going to be redesigned. There's a lot of things that you can do, right? You can share, you can connect this to SSH if you want to use it with Cursor or something like that. That is basically how to do that. So let's wait for these changes to be made. Monkey Note is loading. All right, so here we have Monkey Note, and we can press record. Hello, I'm recording on Monkey Note. I hope that the error we had previously is no longer an error. I really hope this works. From the bottom of my heart, I hope this works. Testing, 1, 2, 3, banana, chicken, turtle. Let's see. Please, no error. We're not getting an error right away. Okay, there we go. This works. We see the summary. And can we view the transcript? There we go. We have the full transcript. It's a little bit off to the right, but that's okay. We now created this app, and since this is a mobile app, it uses your own phone storage. So this app is stored directly on your phone, but in order to set up a database that uses like InstantDB, the process is identical to what we did in the sandbox earlier. All you would need to do is go to InstantDB, get your public app ID, and give it to the agent and say, use the database. And you can do the same thing with mobile app. But I really like creating these local app first because this will be saved. All of this is stored on our phone, right? Even if we left the app, right, we could see the transcript, and these are stored directly on our phone. Oh, here's testing Monkey Note error resolution. So yeah, we ran into a little bit of errors there. What I want to show you is after I was done filming yesterday with the thumbnail, I created an app, a version of this app on my phone. And look at how crazy this app is. This is one of the coolest mobile apps I think I've created yet, and something that I would actually use for my business. And I'm actually going to be releasing this as a template that you can fork directly on the Vibecode app. Is you're going to be able to take this app and turn it into your own. And so this app allows me to upload a right. I took this photo of myself earlier today. And I can upload this photo, and it uses Nano Banana, and we can say give him an orange beanie, and we enter that in. And it looks very similar to the web app, but there's something about using it on the mobile app that just makes it really, really fun. And this is the app that I'm going to submit to the App Store, because I might actually submit this to the App Store. See, it gave him an orange beanie, and I can immediately say, make his shirt a black sweater and add lights around the whiteboard. And it just makes it very, very easy to edit YouTube thumbnails just right here on my phone, right? It added lights around the whiteboard, and then I can press these 3 dots and hit export all, and we can go okay. If I go to photos, we can see here that we have this one. Look at this, black shirt. This looks exactly like me. We have the lights going around the whiteboard. That's pretty insane. And so yes, we created this app. We created this app on our phone, right? We created this app on the Vibecode app. But the Vibecode app also has a web app. And once you sign in, you'll see here that we can see all of our... So we can also work on this on our phone. And when we make changes on our computer, we can scan this QR code and it will actually just open up on our phone. And I can even show you how this works, right? If I'm using camera on my phone, I can scan this QR code and this will actually just open up the Vibecode app and it will open up the exact app that we're working on. And then I can just make changes on the computer and it will update to the phone, right? This will all update to the phone. I could say make nano dash banana dash Riley all caps in the title. I just want to show you that you can make changes on the computer and it will actually update directly on our phone app as well. So you can make changes on the computer, and some people prefer the computer, which I think is awesome. And the reason I'm showing you this is we are going to be deploying this to the App Store. So we're entering the final part of our video where we want to take our apps and actually put them on the internet. We want to allow other people to use them. We want to be able to put them on the App Store, And this is the first step to actually charging money for our apps. In the next video in the series, we're going to talk only about payments. This is going to be a very long video by itself. And that's going to be a really, really fun one. But the first thing that you need to understand before you get to payments is you need to understand how to deploy. Okay, so once you see this saving progress thing right here, you will, it is done coding. And so all you have to do is hit this refresh button. And here we see that Nano Banana was changed to all caps. And so I like the state of this app. It allows you to edit images all just immediately. You can switch between these, which is like really fun to see. And we can press this, and I'm going to press export all, right? You can do that, which is really fun. You can save them all to your library. I think that is a good version 1 of this product. See if other people would actually like to get this app. Now we can just go to the App Store. In order to deploy to the App Store, what you're going to need, this bundle identifier is auto-generated. You don't need to edit this. I'm going to change this app name to Nano Banana Riley. And version, I'm just going to leave it at 1.0. We're going to generate an app icon, man in orange hoodie with a YouTube logo on the hoodie. I don't know. You can generate anything here. Okay, that's fine. Save icon. Now, continue to build setup. So here, you're going to need an Expo Access token. And you're going to just click on this and open this up in a new tab. I already have this set up, and so it automatically gets set up for me, and here's the token. Whatever page you get taken to, you're going to create a free account, then you're going to create a token. And you're going to copy that token, and you're going to paste that token right here. It's that easy on Expo. Then what you're going to do is you're going to set up an Apple developer account. And I already have an Apple developer account. And this part is somewhat difficult. It just takes a little bit of time. But down below this video, I'm going to include a guide on how to get set up with an Apple developer account. And we may even link a video. I may make a separate video just on this, on how to get set up with an Apple developer account. Once you get that set up, then you can just start uploading unlimited apps to the App Store. And you can just create a ton of apps, send them to your friend, get them on the actual App Store. Because after that, all you have to do is hit Start Build Process. And this will begin building your app and sending it to the App Store. And then you are basically done. In the guide that I paste below, it'll show you all the steps that you need to do beyond this step, which is basically creating a description for your app. You also need to create a static landing page somewhere or a link. You could even use a Notion document that has terms of service and privacy policy, which take almost no time, but I'll explain that in the guide. And then you're ready to send it to Apple for review. Here, one thing you need to do while you're deploying to the App Store is you need to just hit allow. And then there's a 6-digit code that I have on my phone. It's not showing up here. I think it's for privacy reasons, but I'm just going to type in that code. And then this is going to complete the build. You basically need to give permission from your Apple developer account to send this app to the App Store. And that's what it's doing right now, which is very cool. Okay, and then finally, I do want to talk about deploying directly to the internet. And by the time you see this video, we may not have deployments yet, but deployments will be here within the next few days. So we're going to add a one-click deployments here button right here at the top, and you're going to be able to deploy it to the internet. For those of you who maybe you want to download your code, you can do that. And then you can download, then you can deploy on Vercel, you could deploy on Netlify, or any of these various tools. And so to download your code, what you're going to do is you're going to press this download button right here. And this will not only save your project, but it will also send you an email. And then that email, in your email, you will see an email, and then all you have to do is click here, and your app will download. And then you can open it up in Cursor, right? I could, if you love using Cursor, you can come into Cursor and you could open up a new project. And if you go into the downloads, here's the project that I downloaded. I can hit open, and this will open up the project right here, as you can see right here. And then you can actually just tell Cursor, please upload this code to this repo. And then you could paste in a GitHub repo link, and then deploy to Vercel using the CLI. That's normally how I deploy. There's a lot of different ways you can deploy, but the point is you can get your code locally on your computer. You can open up with Claude Code. You can open it up with Cursor for those of you who are a little bit more advanced, but we're going to have a deploy button. We'll get it straight to the internet. And in future videos, I'll talk about payments. I will also talk about custom domains. And all I'm going to do for the rest of my life is make content about vibe coding. And as AI technology gets better, we're going to be able to create cooler and cooler apps. It's going to be amazing. And so thank you guys for watching this video. If you got value, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you here for the next video.